Hello. My name is Dr. Carrington Falk. I want to talk to you today about classrooms. We're in a renaissance right now. There's a lot of educators that are thinking about school without borders, because a lot of times we can keep the walls up, we keep things sequestered. People are looking at a open education, an open level plan, and so can you see these spaces as spaces for creativity and not just looking at the classroom as a number? When you think of the classroom, a lot of the times when we're looking at data, we're thinking of just looking at students as, hey, it's these amount of students. We're looking at it in different ways. And you're looking at this data in order to find these insights in order to describe what's going on, a group of people. And a lot of the times it may not match up with what's happening inside of a classroom. And so when you look at a student as just a number, we need to look at it differently. We need to look at these relationships with these students as blank canvases, as a blank canvas. And I know I have some artists in here. We went from STEM to STEAM in a second. For those of you tracking, and we're talking about not only education but technology in the classroom. Just think of it. If we think of ourselves as humans as more than just numbers, we can get deeper. And this is one reason why I look at our experience in layers, right? If you just kind of take yourself out of many modes of thinking, you can start to think of our experience as layers of many different experiences, many different ways of thinking and doing. And when we bring those into the classroom, that can lend itself to a lot of creativity and exploration. And that's the type of thinking we need, because when we look at this future, the future of education, and I'm talking about, everybody wants to talk about innovation. They want to talk about the shift from just conventional thinking to thinking that takes their organization, takes their thinking to the next level. But we can't do that if we don't do the work. And that is why I want to make sure you guys download the Thought Innovation Checklist, 10 questions for creative educational leaders. This is the checklist that you want to take, and you want to read it. And I'll tell you what, some days you might have one or two or maybe three that you need to refresh on, and just to have you thinking differently, and leading you to not only more ideas, but better ideas, right? And that's what we want to get to. That checklist is free for you as we emphasize that shift from conventional thinking to a dynamic thinking. We think of this blank canvas and discuss of this transformation from viewing these classrooms from numbers to blank canvases. And you might ask yourself, what do we want to put on this canvas? Well, I will tell you, and I would assume maybe the person that's looking at this has a classroom themselves. What would you say here? Well, I'm not putting anything on this canvas. The students are putting it there. They're gonna put it, they're gonna paint the canvas. They're gonna paint it. Now, we're gonna facilitate it. We wanna facilitate the creativity. But a lot of times, when we look at it digital, in a lot of schools, we have computers there, right? I don't even want to touch the mouse. I want to let the student do what what they do. I'm gonna instruct them, but hey, I'm gonna let them go ahead and create. And so we're gonna let them create on this canvas. That's what we're gonna do. And you know, with this process, students become more active and they're not as passive. You know, when we look at inside of the classroom, some students, if you really think about it, we haven't heard from them in weeks, maybe months. They come in and, hey, they may do all the work or most of it, and they kind of skate by, they coast by. But at the end of the day, they're passive inside of the process, inside of the classroom. But if you take them and shift that thinking and let them paint, then they are going to be the ones painting on this canvas, and they're going to be creating the future of education. And so like when you think of it, it's not going to be us just building. The students are going to build. They're going to build. Now we got to help, of course, but they are going to be the builders. All right, guys, so it's very important, very important to just foster that creativity in the classroom. And when you think about leading a classroom as a creative educational leader, you have to be ready to pivot at times. You have to be nimble. I like what Bruce Lee said. He said, be water, my friends. And really, I'm doing that no justice. We gotta be water. We gotta be able to fit the landscape a lot of the times in order for us to just pass through and go forward. And you know, in education, that's what we want to do, because it's one thing I know. I want my future to be forward. I'm not trying to go backwards. I want the future to be forward. So thank you. And we just want to just continue to create the environments that foster creativity in the classroom. Once again, make sure to download the Thought Innovation Checklist. 10 questions for creative educational leaders. And you can get that for free down below. Blessed.